Switching over to our Mariners news, not too much going on. I know the last few weeks we have had some news with, Pete Woodworth being named MLB's Coach of the Year and a bunch of other stuff. This is just a report, with the offseason and with free agency. And because we are who we are, we're going to report on it anyway. But it's funny because part of it now, there's two players involved in the speculation. One of them's re-signed with their current team. So doesn't matter as much. The Mariners reportedly had interest in outfielders last DH Michael Brantley as well as outfielder AJ Pollock. The team reportedly has made an offer to Pollock, as the Dodgers are interested as well. But AJ Brantley has re-signed to the Astros on a 1-year, $12 million deal. So that's sort of out of the picture now. We had this little segment in the league notes of free agency about the Mariners missing out. We'll continue that. Shortstop Carlos Correa signed a 13-year, $350 million deal with the San Francisco Giants. You heard me right. I said 13 years. 13 years. I've looked at, you look at a lot of these deals, and there's a couple more in here that I'll mention as well. But 13 years, do you honestly expect him to positively contribute to your ball club for 13 years, let alone 10, let alone maybe 7? It's really interesting. I'm sure there's some of it that plays into it is the money, and that would make some sense. But I just don't. Yeah, 13 years. Jeez. Starting pitcher Carlos Rodon signed a 6-year, $162 million deal with the New York Yankees. Second baseman Adam Frazier signed a 1-year, $8 million deal with the Baltimore Orioles. So, Liv, I apologize that happened. It's tough. 1-year, $8 million deal is a good deal for a infielder that is looking to relatively have a bounce back year. He's primed to do so, considering that the shift is being banned, and he joins a good Orioles team, a good organization that's primed to be successful again this year. I know they just barely missed out on the playoffs. So to put it this way, he's in good hands. All right, not safer. He's in good hands. Shortstop Dansby Swanson signed a 7-year, $177 million deal with the Chicago Cubs. So again, 7 years for Swanson, 6 years for Rodon, 13 years for Correa. It's a lot, and to go back to it, Rodon was a guy that I wanted to sign last year in the offseason. He signed with the Giants inevitably, but the point continues to be made that the biggest free agent deal that Jerry Dipoto has given out was the deal to Nori Aoki, which isn't a good sign if you remember that name. So, and it's nothing against Aoki necessarily. It's just, the fact that it was when it was, and it was the amount that it was. For those who don't know, we'll pull it up just so I don't sound like, what is he talking about? What Nori Aoki deal? I'll save you the time. I'll save you the Google search. Contract, Seattle Mariners. It's I know that, again, we've talked about it before. It was a 1-year, $5.5 million deal. Oh my God. 1 year, $5.5 million. I know that a lot of people have wanted to just want to splash. They want to like, oh, sure, give Correa that sort of contract. But I know that Dipoto has talked about it in press conferences. Justin Hollander has talked about it in press conferences as well, that they want to build this team the right way, and they don't want to jeopardize their future by doing so. I'm sure that there are guys that they would have liked to take runs at. I know they've talked, they've been rumored about Conforto. Now they're not one of the teams that's listed when I see who's talking about Conforto. Talk about Brantley. Brantley resigns. JD Martinez was in Seattle like a week ago, and he just signed a 1-year, $10 million deal with the LA Dodgers. Would you give him that deal? I wouldn't give him that deal. There have been reports that maybe Seattle's saving money until next year for Shohei Ohtani. At the end of the day, Dipoto, the moves that have been made, I trust this front office, but it does make you really wonder in the current state what's going to go on. We are in December. Granted, it's getting to late December. You're looking for spring training coming up, and that roster, when that'll be there, I'm sure it'll be different than where we are right now. I don't imagine that the Mariners stay where they are right now. I mean, you look at the starting field: Cal Raleigh, Eugenio Suarez, J.P. Crawford, Colton Wong, Ty France, some combination of Jared Kelenic and Sam Haggerty, Julio Rodriguez, and Teoscar Hernandez, or as my friend Nick likes to call him, Teoscar, which is very wrong, and I just thought it was a funny part to include. And then you've got to have someone DH, so whoever's not starting in left field gets to DH effectively. If you want to, you go out and sign a corner outfielder. You still need to sign another corner infielder who can rotate to give Gino days off and to give Ty days off, hoping that neither of them gets injured. You maybe would like to sign some more bullpen help. So there's things to be done and there's moves to be made. Also considering the fact that we may get some players that come up through the minor league systems to fill those holes. Cade Marlowe might be a candidate for that corner outfielder role. I know there's some pitching. This franchise has some great pitching depth within the organization, and maybe they dig into that. We'll have to see ultimately, but it is. I won't go into full angry panic mode, but it is something to note that the Mariners have been as quiet as they have in terms of signing free agents. And the last sort of league note that we have here is that the Dodgers are reportedly interested in center fielders via trade. That list includes Brian Reynolds, Alec Thomas, Dylan Carlson, and Jared Kelenic. Isn't that interesting? I would say no, unless they're giving you something crazy, but that's just me. I've been a Jared Kelenic truther since a long time. So looking ahead, again, there's not too much to look ahead to, and this necessarily, except for the fact that pitchers and catchers do report for spring training on February 14th of 2023. So mark your calendars, start the countdown, whatever you'd like to do, but certainly we're looking forward to that as well.